Hello and welcome to Global Review. I am Sachin Chaturvedi. We bring to you weekly analysis of key global developments. Let's have a look at the headlines. Prime Minister Modi extends $1.4 billion for Maldives. China, Pakistan and Afghanistan boost cooperation to support Afghanistan's peace process. IMF estimates global debt at 185 trillion in nominal terms. Awami League pledges to continue development cooperation with India in all sectors. Chinese smartphone industry sets up R&D centers in India to offer local products. Chinese companies in Kenya created more than 50,000 jobs and provided training to 67,000 people. Venezuela, Russia hold joint military drill amid US critique. There are several key developments in this week, some extremely interesting and some extremely of long-term value in terms of both the economic impact and of course in terms of how we are going to assess them in the days to come. We bring to you in our analysis today under the section Across the Globe. Today we have picked up an extremely important issue for humanity, which is directly related to Sustainable Development Goals, but has also long-term implications when we talk of climate change. It's on nutrition and global security related to food and getting rid of hunger, but trying to see how nutrition can be back right at the center stage of the global communication. Let's have a look at this report.
The 2018 Global Nutrition Report, in line with the UN Decade of Action on Nutrition 2016 to 2025, highlights that global malnutrition is at unacceptably high levels, affecting socio-economic development among countries. Each country is affected by either one, two or all three burdens of childhood stunting, anemia in women and overweight among adults. 41 countries globally face the triple burden of stunting, anemia and overweight. Assessing 194 countries, the report shows that only 94 countries are on track for meeting at least 1 out of 9 targets. Statistics show that amongst children below 5 years of age, 150.8 million are stunted, 50.5 million are wasted and 38.3 million are overweight. India, Nigeria and Pakistan are home to 47.2% of all stunted children globally, out of which India has 31% or 46.6 million stunted children. Nigeria follows second with 13.9 million and Pakistan with 10.7 million. Globally, stunting amongst children has declined in Asia and Latin America. In Africa, due to population growth, the numbers show an increasing trend despite decrease in percentage terms of stunted children. Among adults, 38.9% are overweight or obese. Overweight among children is higher in urban areas compared to rural and more prevalent among boys compared to girls. More than 20 million babies are born of low birth weight, as 1/3 women of reproductive age are either underweight or have anemia. Malnutrition is estimated to cost the economy approximately $3.5 trillion per year. Overweight and obesity contribute to an estimated 4 million deaths, and undernutrition is responsible for 45% of death among children below 5 years of age. The report reflects the changing nature of malnutrition globally and changing nutritional habits due to increased consumption of processed and packaged foods.
It is absolutely important for us to bring nutrition back as part of the wider global linkages and relations, both to be promoted by the UN and the multilateral agencies, but also by national governments. The report very clearly showed a recently held summit in Bangkok where, along with Sustainable Development Goals, the goal number 2, which focuses on eliminating hunger, a lot of important issues came up. and some of the participants from India included very prominent voices, those who have put in several years of hard work in terms of analyzing the impacts. One of them has joined us today in the studio, and we are very fortunate that Mr. Vijay Sardana is here with us. He has been speaking, articulating on key issues related to eliminating hunger, but also prevailing with the private sector and their strength in the agriculture. We are also very fortunate that we are joined in the studio by Mr. Dan Alluf, the Agriculture Counsellor in the Embassy of Israel, and we would be taking up issues with both of them on how this has to go forward. Mr. Sardana, let me first come to you. How you view and in a program like this where we review global affairs, nutrition getting this prime importance shows how important this issue is now for the humanity to address over many other things. How you see this coming up as an important global issue?
Sachin, it's a very important issue. In fact, if you look at all the governments around the world, they talk of human welfare, people's well-being. But if people are hungry and malnourished, what else can be more important than when we talk of welfare and well-being of people? So, I think across the spectrum of political systems around the world, I think this has to be number one agenda, because if people are not healthy, if they are not having a proper life, everything else, whatever we do for them is meaningless, because a sick person cannot enjoy anything else. So, health is wealth, that is the first thing we look at it, and for that nutrition is key. If you look at good health, there are only two important parameters. One is genetics, second is environment, and third is nutrition. So, genetics we can't do much. Environment, we are anyway working on global warming and so many things, but the intake which goes into the system is nutrition. So, unless we focus nutrition as a national priority number one, we will continue to have those problems. That's a very
important point, Mr. Sardana. As you would see, so far we delegated this responsibility to FAO and to IFPRI to do research and FAO to implement. How you see role of national governments in advancing global nutritional security?
See, in fact, it is a responsibility of national government. FAO, IFPRI and other multilateral agencies can only be support. What is the role of government? Government is well-being of their own citizens. And again, I am repeating by saying is that there is no better well-being than a healthy citizen. And for healthy citizen, you have to give them a proper nutrition. Everything else is secondary. If person is not healthy, he cannot absorb your education system. He cannot enjoy your sports. He cannot enjoy your recreation which you are going to create, or whatever luxury you want to create for them. Because for sick person, everything else is immaterial. So, it is very, very important that citizens of every nation, every citizen of the world must be healthy, and that we should focus on.
Then let me now come to you. The focus now, as you would have noticed in India, we have now through the program called Poshan, we have now switched over from elimination of hunger or food security as the sole objective to nutritional security. How you see international cooperation contributing towards this goal, not only in India, but at the global level?
So, I would say that when you talk about nutrition, there are two movements. One is that people earning more and getting exposed to the world more are actually changing their diet, wanting to have food that usually they wouldn't consume locally. This is one. The second, maybe it is in a synergy with that, is that the diet, the local diet is disappearing. People that used to have their own traditional dishes move towards this. And to some extent, one should bring the exposure and the ability of these citizens to choose whatever they do, but promote the local cuisine to stay and enable the new cuisine to enter, and in both preserve the quality. Because when you eat...
And how you see global partnerships, global understandings and global sort of joint initiatives, how they can help in global nutritional security?
I think the essence should be sharing knowledge, sharing experience. This is what we do in Israel, is bring the experience we had with establishing a state with very limited resources and ensuring exactly the points you were mentioning, that the citizens will have the health, will have the nutrition to optimize their performance.
Mr. Sardana, how you see India's role at the global level in terms of promoting global nutritional security?
I think we have very big responsibility because one of the largest malnourished kids are in India.
Yeah.
So, if we take responsibility of India itself, we will eliminating half of the world's problem.
Yeah.
So, I think it's very important that instead of looking outside, first we look at inside, because we are somewhere contributing to that malnourishment or
in fact, it is being
problem.
said that if India achieves the SDG, the world would be free of that burden
Absolutely.
to a very great extent.
So, that is where it's very, very important, and as Dan has mentioned, it's extremely important. So,
Yeah.
what we did is, in the name of development, we ignored our traditional foods.
Yeah.
We don't realize that traditional food is not just a taste aspect, it is based on local ecology, it is based on local systems, it adapts to your genetics, and now the new phenomenon in nutrition is nutrigenomics.
Yep.
It's ideally fit into the system. We are ignoring that and jumping into those food items which are not suitable for either climate or our body system. This is creating a whole lot of other set of problem. So, my request is that the famous concept of thali, Indian thali, which is, if you look at, the only phenomena in the world which actually gives you a complete diet. There is no phenomena comparable to thali in the world. Either people have too much carbohydrate, or they have too much fat, or they have too much salt. Here, or too much protein. Here we have a combination of everything, good in fiber, good in nutrition, good in micronutrients, good in everything, and that is what the thali concept is. So, wherever societies were still continuing thali, you will not find malnutrition problem there.
So, promote indigenous system, get rid of malnutrition. We are running out of time. We would have a break here. Don't go away. There are many more very important issues to come up. We would be back in a while. Welcome back. In this component, we bring to you analysis which you do not find in your newspaper columns. We call this Beyond the News. In light of this whole issue of nutrition and agriculture, we thought we would take a call on Prime Minister's recent engagement with Israel. Israel has emerged as one of the key partners for India. Prime Minister Modi has taken special initiatives to deepen cooperation and identify key sectors in innovation across the globe and across the sectors to see how Israel comes up where we require their help. Agriculture is certainly one of the priority areas. Let's have a look at this report.
Commemorating 25 years of diplomatic relations between India and Israel, bilateral visits have paved the way for enhanced relations. During bilateral visits, key initiatives such as India-Israel Innovation Bridge were launched, MOU to deepen cooperation were signed, and targets to achieve $20 billion bilateral trade turnover in the next 5 years was set. The India-Israel Industrial R&D and Technological Innovation Fund was also established during PM Modi's visit to Israel to boost joint projects in science and technology. The two countries share a common vision to raise bilateral cooperation to levels of strategic partnership and are working together on a 5-year joint work plan in the agriculture sector. India-Israel are strategic partners for the Indo-Israel Agriculture Project. The Indian Ministry of Agriculture, in partnership with Israel's Agency for International Development Cooperation, MASHAV, have come together for a 3-year work program 2018 to 2020 to increase farmer productivity, water use efficiency, conservation techniques, and introducing crop diversity. The project is implemented through the joint establishment of centers of excellence with tailor-made technology and knowledge transfer from Israel as per the need of Indian farmers.
So then let me start this with you. We saw your picture with our Prime Minister. How was the experience when you launched this program?
So the program was actually launched 10 years ago in 2008, and then it is about sharing knowledge. So hosting and being together with two leaders of these states in a center of excellence, which we will explain later, was a big privilege because they could actually see the impact. They met this day, they met the farmers that are benefiting out of this partnership. So it was a big privilege to be part of that.
How the new energy of Prime Minister Modi has given new life to this initiative?
We always emphasize how this partnership is a partnership between Israel and India, but it is led by India. Anything that we do is guided in terms of what it is that we focus on and what is the scale and scope that we bring. So the leadership is the main engine behind this.
And what's the objective, how it is going now? Can you tell us?
Definitely. So currently what we have under the Indo-Israel Agricultural Project that MASHAV and MIDH are leading is a government-to-government partnership that is spread across 16 states in India with 25 centers of excellence that are currently fully active. A center of excellence is a platform in which we demonstrate a value chain of advanced and a very intensive agriculture on the one hand. On the other hand, it is tailored to the local conditions. So each out of these 25 centers are unique and are focusing on a key crop and bringing again a value chain, not only a segment, but a full solution for the farmer.
What all crops you are focusing on in different states? Is it varying all across?
It is varying, but there is similarities. For example, we have 7 centers for mango cultivation. We have 9 for greenhouse, vegetable greenhouse cultivation. We are also having pomegranate centers and citrus, date palm, floriculture. So the range is there, the diversity, but this is part of the leadership of India, guiding us which are the key crops according to geography.
Mr. Sardana, let me now come to you. How you see some of these partnerships, and particular traction comes in with Israel in terms of technology content, in terms of something we are all stressed with, namely water. So how water-stressed agriculture production areas where nutrition is such a great issue, how you see these partnerships?
See, partnership is always beneficial because it helps you in preventing the reinventing the wheel. People have already done something, we can learn from their experiences, very often their mistakes, we should not do it. And that saves resources, development becomes faster. But here I would like to add one more dimension, and I will request Israel-India partnership teams, those who are monitoring it, to look at it. Simple technology transfer will not help. That's my concern. We have to look at how China has absorbed global technologies at a much faster rate and taken the benefit of that, including in agriculture. So my request is that with the technology, we should bring the organizational development plus the marketing linkage, the complete value chain into the system. If Israel and India joint venture, which is this initiative is going on, if they take it as a complete package, not just technology transfer. Because even if I adopt Israeli technology, will produce 3 times more, and still I am not getting the right price.
Mr. Dan Alluf, how you see this? This is a very, very important point, very basic point,
Definitely.
And very fundamental.
Definitely. What we are trying to do is to have an impact, and what you are saying is very true. Going out of the frame of the center, which is a farm, and reaching the farmers is a goal we put to ourselves. We actually try to identify farmer producer organizations or progressive farmers that can set an example and lead the way. I'm very happy to say it's happening to some extent. Definitely you see diversity. Some are doing it more than others, but it is definitely a goal. And one of the things that we are doing together is doing it in a sustainable manner. We are not here to perform and then take a step back, but we are there to partner with India for the long run. And I think what you are saying, we should do it, and we are doing it. We should do it more, and we should have the patience to see the impact.
In fact, I would like to add one more dimension. What you are saying is from your lab, you are taking it to land, which is to the farmer. I am saying that still is a halfway through. We should take it, that lab to farmer, and then from farmer to consumer. That complete chain is actually a wealth creation model. Otherwise, only technology without bringing any economic benefit to the stakeholders will not be appreciated, actually the true power of technology. So we should utilize the technology for wealth creation. Simply technology demonstration is not good for farmers. So I think we have to bring that economic and commercial angle to the technology transfer, that all the technologies which we are getting from Israel, how it is benefiting consumer. They may be better nutritious product, They may be more in nutrition, more in shelf life, more in other things. On the other side, farmers are getting more income.
So then just quickly, how is the nutrition focus in your program? Does it feature?
It does feature. It features, as you were saying, we are looking into cultivation, technology, but knowledge also. And we are moving into post-harvest, meaning definitely we have agreed during Prime Minister Modi's visit to Israel. It was signed an action plan from 2018 to 2020, in which we decided we'll implement post-harvest and we look into increasing the value chain. And to your question and to your input, I would say that post-harvest will first of all enable the farmer to reach the right market in the right time, in the right price.
Yep.
So I hope this will benefit the farmer in this regard. For your point, having a fresh product reaching in the optimal condition to the plate of the consumer will enable for them to, of course, have better nutrition at the end of the day.
And in this, you have mechanisms for inputs from stakeholders like the farmers or local scientists. Do you have a platform?
So now we are building the platform. Now we are building the model.
Okay.
We are having the exchange of experts' visits and knowledge. And now we are in the stage of defining the implementation model.
Excellent. And how you see the platform coming up? Would it be in near future? Is it a
we're looking within the frame of this working plan. So up to 2020, we want to see. We already started to do it in date palm and in citrus in a couple of centers. And we are looking to do it in all centers. But it is always a process. It's never...
That's right. And we keep on evolving it.
Definitely.
Are there some partnerships Israel has of similar nature in other countries other than India?
So MASHAV, the Israel's Agency for International Development Cooperation, is active globally across the world. In India, I'm proud to say, is the biggest partnership we have across the world. And it is monitored and promoted by the highest ranks in the Israeli government.
Excellent. On that note, we would now take up Book of the Week. And today we have picked up this absolutely timely report which FAO has come out with, Future Smart Food. And what smart food should be? As Mr. Sardana said earlier, it should be locally produced with as less as possible carbon footprints. You don't have to travel your food from one place to another. Why can't you locally grow? And if that fits in local ecology, the food would be smart. What do you say, Mr. Sardana? You were there at the time of the launch of the report. How you view contribution of this and new paradigm that the multilateral institutions are coming up with? You remember the days of PL 480 and now you have this recommendation. How you see times are changing?
I think we are coming back to the same, basics, facts of life.
Yep.
That we have a competency to grow what is good for local system. It helps local economy. And instead of spending too much money in transporting food and bearing whole lot of losses and overheads and everything and making food expensive, if you produce locally by the local farmer, consumed by the local society, I think it benefits economy, it benefits local rural economy, consumers' health, and the money which consumer saves.
How do you see the scope when urbanization is multiplying at a pace that no one has seen
Still,
before?
I agree with that, but that's what I'm saying. Now is a peri-urban agriculture. You are coming closer. Instead of transporting all the way from South India to North,
Yep.
I always say that why onions cannot be grown in Haryana, why we have to transport all the way from Nasik. And this is what we have to understand, that Delhi needs everything. And we are transporting onions and tomatoes from south and transporting wheat from here to south. Doesn't make sense.
Dan, any quick comments from you?
Yeah, I would say that at the end of the day, the market has its own dynamic. Sometimes the market will demand things that cannot be grown, but I think
this is where the technology plays.
Yes, the technology plays a role and things can be done.
Time to close now. Market has its own dynamics, but social and of course the climate change related factors are important. Nutrition is back on the center stage. It's being debated and discussed not only in context of global goals, but also in terms of the dynamics which development paradigms often bring on the table. We close now. Please do write back to us on our emails and on Twitter that you see on your screen. We would wait for your comments. We would be back next week, same time. Till then, a very goodbye. Thank you.